Right, let me see here.
Like, I of course knew that there was a strong man behind. Like, I of course.
Righty, hello there. How are we? Let me just open this up also here. So, this is just a follow on. I had mentioned before. Firstly, hello people, how you doing? Murphy, how you doing? Canny Blunt, Boris Chops, hello. Imran Ali, hello. Mr. Golden V, Gruner Germain, hello from Germany. Rabbit Hole, Andrew Execrate, how you doing? Chilster, Grissu, Boom Me, One Man His Detector. Hello everybody. So this is a follow on. You know, I've recently shown, you know, how when we talk about force and what force actually is, and establishing that the only force that we have available to is that being, you know, what makes objects move in the real world is pressure variance, something pressing upon something else. I've also shown that there is no downward acceleration due to the fact that we do not have any displacement of gas and liquid when we drop, say, a bottle of water or a bottle of liquid and gas. And I've shown and spoken clearly about this, that you cannot be requesting special circumstances for your invoking magical accelerative forces, because we do not have access to any of these things. And again, you do not get a buy just because we have an observation of a phenomena that we call falling, and people want to assert that this object, when I let it go, is moving through three-dimensional space. In order for motion to happen, we need a force, and we've established that the only forces that exist is pressure variance, that being that something pressing upon something else to make something move. So if somebody's going to assert that this is moving through space, you're going to need some sort of force for that. Okay, so we have the gravity claims, you know, the mathematical, you know, modelling and creation of what they would perceive could be possibly going on. And I've got two running notions. You've got Einsteinian and Newtonian. Newtonian would be that just a mass on its own has some aspect about it that can make another mass come towards it, right? And Einsteinian, they're talking about the warping and bending of the fabric of space, which, you know, space has no properties. Space is no something tangible. It's no, doesn't, you know, have any property or substance to it whatsoever, you know. And these are just mathematical, you know, creations to try and hold a model together. But that's not how we're supposed to experience reality. This is not the way to move forward. We have to use practicality, you know, demonstrations. We can't just define axioms mathematically and then, you know, interpret world phenomena to fit your conceived, already presupposed model of reality. That's not how it works, right? So we don't have pulling forces. There is no downward acceleration. The other aspect that we've had is relative density disequilibrium, where people claim that density and buoyancy are, you know, things of their own. So the density of an object dictates that it should go down. This is the type of rhetoric that we get from people who are supposedly, you know, looking at reality and being objective and seeking out truth, right? The density of an object, given an object density or more density, in no way, shape or form gives it any sort of motion, nor does it give it any sort of vector. There is no directionality vector by just the density of an object. It's totally preposterous. So what I set out, I made the statement before that if I have a vessel with water in it, and I'm holding that, and I drop an object in there, and it starts to sink, right? because people are going to say it's the density of the object that makes it go through the water. But as soon as I let go of that vessel, the object stops moving through the water. It stops sinking. And that's exactly what happens. Now, me and Marty attempted this a couple of times, but because I only have the GoPro, it was very difficult. I had to do it in a box with a jar and, you know, hold it and drop the object and make sure the camera was sitting properly and let the box go. And, you know, we did capture it a little bit on one of the videos, but a channel called Real World, who have linked in the description here, Marek, he used a better camera and recreated exactly what I said, and I'm about to show you that. So my prediction was that when we let go of the bottle, that the object now no longer sinks. It remains exactly where it is. So I'm going to show you, we will see a slight motion, but I'm going to talk about the you know, why that would be, the reasons for why that would be under a different postulation. Okay, so let me just get my video here. I'm just going to make that a bit larger so people can see it. Let me see. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So obviously this is just the first demonstration of no acceleration. You know, again, there's no displacement of the gas and the liquid. When you accelerate a bottle with gas and liquid in it, the air moves to the direction of motion and the liquid moves to the back. Every time, that's what happens. If you, just like Andrew, execute 200 done, and I'll find his video in a little minute, and you accelerate the bottle downwards using, you know, like Andrew did, elasticated cord, and stretched it and then let it go and the bottle accelerates, you get a displacement, the water moves to the top of the bottle and the air moves to the bottom. That's what happens under conditions of acceleration. So here we can see, in order to counter the screw, is used, you know, a more buoyant material so that the sink rate will be much slower. Pay attention here, you see the speed that the object sinks to the bottom, and you'll note in this one when it gets to about here, it stops. Okay, so I'm going to come back and see if there's any questions, make sure people comprehend the video. Good, Andrew. So Andrew's done the exact same thing but from much higher, so excellent. The more demonstrations that we have of this, the better. Again, this is what the way it's supposed to be. You know, when we're questioning reality, everyone has access to reality. There is no hierarchy. There is no appealing to superiority or authority or any of that stuff. If you are one of those people, you're involved in a cult, you are a cult thinking person, and you should just join your little cult and believe whatever your little cult feeds you and carry on, and leave us realists to examine reality and the claims surrounding it to see what stacks up. So I encourage everybody to repeat the same thing, and you will find the exact same findings that we are finding. Okay, so is everybody up to speed? I'm going to give the opportunity here before I move on or elaborate. Well, that tells us that, you know, it's no relative density. You know, again, for me, I'm going to postulate that it's the earth that's in motion. And as soon as the bottle is let go, it's no longer connected to the earth, so it's not connected to the force that was given at the downward directional vector. And when the object's dropped in the bottle, as it's sinking and the bottle is let go, it stops moving. So, let me just look at this, hang on. So what's the globe going to say? Huh? That the object was moving through the water, right? And this being connected to the person. I'm just going to stick man it here. Funny looking stick man, hey ho. Right, so in the conditions of me standing on the earth, right, being connected to it, when I'm holding that vessel, the sinking object sinks straight to the bottom. But as soon as it's let go, it stops sinking. So what are the globe going to say? Huh? That as soon as I let it go, the magic of gravity envelops the whole thing and now somehow grabs the vessel, the water and the object and keeps them static relative to each other, so to us it appears like they're not actually moving, and then accelerates the whole thing magically towards the earth at the exact same rate. That is total and utter lunacy. If you are a person who invokes that and subscribes to this type of thinking, you are mentally ill. Seriously, you are mentally ill. You've got no place in objective inquiry. Right? Again, you do not get to request this special type of magic. 100% of the time in practical reality, when we accelerate a vessel in any direction, doesn't matter what direction I accelerate it in, you know, the vessel shows the displacement, liquid towards the back and the air towards the front. Right? Every time. But we have to ignore that, and we have to allow cult lunatics a bypass so that they can invoke magical acceleration. What I'm going to say is that if the Earth's moving uniformly, if it's the Earth that's in motion, I am connected to the Earth. It's this that gives the downward vector. Right? And when I'm holding that, it's connected to me and it's connected to the reference frame. So when this is where, you know, density is established, density layers are established, right? The directionality is established. So when the object's let go, being more dense, it moves straight to the bottom because it has to. But as soon as I let that go, that's now no longer connected to the force, which would be the earth in motion. So what we have is when it's let go initially, it still slightly moves. But so does this, because you have to remember, if we are in motion, as soon as I let that go, although to us it appears to immediately go downwards, it still has to lose its momentum on the upward trajectory. And once it's established that and it comes to a standstill, that's what we witness. We witness the object standing freely, not in motion, the same as the rest of it. Until again it comes back into contact with the earth, and then we establish the same grounds yet again. And equilibrium will take hold, density will now form, and the object will start to move towards the bottom. points is that, Andrew? Again, you hear people saying this, I don't experience motion, I don't feel motion. Well, you feel weight. You're feeling it right now. How can we not feel the movement? Boom me, you're experiencing it. But again, I hope that this is not an attempt to escape the demonstrations and what they're actually showing you. I'm not invested in stationary earth, spinny earth, uniform moving earth. I'm not invested in any of these things. It's not like I go, right, I'm going to push this narrative because I'm sort of invested in it. I'm just going through the demonstrations to see what the reality actually shows. And it's just as uncomfortable for me as it is for everybody else, because it brings bigger questions. What would we be moving through? What does that say about this thing that we call Earth? What actually is it then? What's outside it? But again, you know, the facts are the facts. There is no downward acceleration. It's demonstrable. And density is not playing a role either. The commonality between that and the other test where you can have a water bottle and you puncture holes in it and the water flows out, as soon as you let it go, immediately the water stops flowing. It's because it's no longer connected to the reference frame. Has no force behind it. But that's it, with me, you know, you overlook it. You're saying you don't feel the motion because you're looking for a signifier and a change in direction, something that would make you feel, oh, I'm changing direction. But you're feeling it right now. You're standing on the earth. You can feel your own weight. You know, there's a cause to that. Is it, you know, I was talking about it before. Density, you know, weight is only relative to something that can resist you, you know. Again, just like at the lift example, if I put you in a lift and I start to accelerate that lift and I accelerate it faster and faster and faster, your weight's going to increase. And, you know, again, you felt this in an accelerating car. You can feel that push, right? And you can feel your weight shift and change. It's motion that's the root cause of that. The rest is you have to invoke magic, nonsensical gibberish. And this is the whole point. People are swayed by propaganda. People are swayed still by the collective and, you know, little hush groups and individuals who are telling you not to look at this and throwing ridicule at stuff. And why would you lend your attention to that? Why would you even lend your attention to me? I'm showing you the demonstrations. You can go and repeat them. If you can come up with some other explanation to what it is that you're witnessing through the practical demonstration, then I'm willing to hear it. Again, it's not my choice for it to be this way. It just is this way. Simple. Yes, level-headed Natalie, exactly. Buoyancy and density are only effects. You know? And for people, again, I'm just going to repeat this. Let me get my little rubber thing here. Where is it? Eraser. Okay. So we can have any object, right? And that object can have a set mass, right? Set volume, set dimensions, set shape, set form, whatever you like, right? Now this object standing alone, right, it has its density, its mass, its volume, its shape, right, and they're set. But nothing about the density or the mass of the object or the shape or the volume of the object gives it weight, nor does it give it any sort of direction. You need to have something else that can come into contact with it, right? And through that contact, through that motion of that new pressing against it, you know, the opposite and equal, right? Now, depending on the rate that this thing comes into contact and continues to move against that, is going to determine what its weight is. Now that we've got something that can resist it and something that's in motion in a particular direction, we have the opposite and equal to that, which now gives this its vector, right? Its downward vector. I can, in three-dimensional space, I can have a container, right? And I can put all sorts of different materials in there. We could put rock, you know, we can put gas, however you want to depict gas. We can put liquid in it, you know. But none of them are related to each other in any way, shape or form. You're not going to have a density layering where the rock would come to the bottom and then you would have the liquid and then you would have the gas. Again, you need something that comes into contact with it. You need something that puts it in motion. Once it's in motion, then you can get the layers, right? Without the motion, you're not going to get that. Saying density is a cause of the downward vector and direction is absolutely absurd. Preposterous. Why do balloons go up? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Again, you can recreate this in a vehicle. Get your helium balloon, attach it to the floor, then hang some other, you know, plumb lines with different materials, some wood, some rock, some metal, right? Now accelerate the car forwards. Your denser materials will move to the back, your helium balloon moves forward because there's a compression that happens that causes a density gradient of the air as it compresses to the back. Now as it compresses to the back, it forces the helium balloons, the balloon forward. This is when you get your buoyant force. Well, I would love to see how density can be the cause of motion. These people who still, you know, get some Play-Doh and keep squashing it and add more Play-Doh, right? Or something that you can compress and make it more dense, and see if you can make it dense enough that it starts to move. It's ridiculous. Dale, what happened with Fight the Flat Earth sorting out in January? Apparently he was writing up some, you know, document that I have to sign. You know, a man wants you to go to his home, invites you to his home. This shows you the level of these people. Another man is inviting me to his home to have a discussion with him, right? But only if I sign a disclaimer so that I won't tell anybody where he lives, and that I agree that he can have bodyguards there. And so a man inviting another man to his home, but he needs a team there, and he wants me to sign all this. This is the level of these people and how insecure and how dumb they are. For one, I am not interested in bringing any hatred towards anybody. Two, if I want to find out where you live, I can find out where you live pretty easily. It's not difficult. Right? It's a shambles. These people are just a joke. So, anyhow. Right, what's going on here? You know, if rather than asking people questions in the chat box, ask me directly or come in here and speak to me directly about the little observation that we just witnessed. Cheers, Canny Blunt. I did Imran. No proof of motion. I've just demonstrated to you that there's motion. As everything in that pressure field, possible vacuum energy, matter moves to least resistance to the dynamic limit, the rate of equation. You know, you would have to have some sort of, you know, Jack, again, just to show that I'm no biased in this regard, I went through all this stuff in my mind over and over and over. You know, and I'm best just trying to draw it for you so that you've got some sort of visual to see what I'm talking about. You know, so let me just get rid of this. So it would have to be something like, you know, remember this is just rough, but say we had, you can understand it, like if we had a grated surface here and we had some sort of vortex going on underneath, right, that was flowing somewhere, we would have to have somewhere for it to flow. You know, that could create, you know, a downward pressure, you know, here, going towards this point, you know. You know, like some sort of black hole beneath us where everything's being, you know, is rushing towards it. But you know, that brings so many problems, because where is the new air and stuff that we've got? You know, it must be coming from somewhere in order to keep feeding this whole shebang. It just gets ludicrous when we start to think like that, you know. But I think that's pretty much what you're trying to talk about. That's the only way I could see it. You know, like when you pull the plug in your bath and you see the vortex, right, there's a lower pressure there, so the higher pressure surrounding it moves towards that region. So you could say that, well, there's a black hole beneath us, like a sinkhole, and matter and air, the whole lot's trying to go towards the sinkhole, and that gives us the downward direction. I mean, possibility. Again, I'm only showing you that to show that I don't have the bias towards anything. But I think about these things. Rabbit hole, it cannot be stationary. You need to stop repeating that, because you're muddying the waters of you know, people truly investigating reality here. Exactly, JCW, exactly. Chelsea Deluxe could create layers in a glass with no movement. That's because you're in a reference frame. Create that by suspending the glass in the air, and then create the layers. I just showed it's like a fight to not accept reality. The video I showed you is not a trick. You can see the denser object moving through the water, and as soon as the bottle's let go, it stops moving. Chris, you missed me. Let me check. Again, the previous live stream from the 16th of April is now unavailable and cannot be viewed due to copyright reasons. Is there any possibility to fix it? I could go in and edit a little clip of the Einstein movie. I think that's the reason. But I just can't be bothered with YouTube and their fucking shenanigans. It was fair use. You know, it's not like somebody trying to own their content. And that whole thing pisses me off. Ownership. Who's got the right to think they own anything about this reality? Whether it be a creative creation or whatever it is, who has the right to own anything here? As far as I'm aware, no human is God. No human is responsible for creating reality. So any human that's claiming ownership over any aspect is an absolute fuckwit. Total and utter fuckwit. The type of people that you would never put in any sort of position of influence or authority. Level Earth Observer, hello there, mate. Rabbit hole, we've had so many, you know, messiah complexes over the years. You're no different to anybody else that thinks they've got the whole thing figured out. You're arguing against facts here and making statements about stationary domed earths and stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. Get a grip. Exactly, Andrew. And this is the whole point. It shows you the level, you know. Flat earthers are very good at saying, oh, Joe Bloggs has got cognitive dissonance, another phrase that they don't fully comprehend. But anyhow, you know, Joe Bloggs has got cognitive dissonance. Joe Bloggs is not woke. Right? Joe Bloggs doesn't understand reality. Joe Bloggs doesn't accept reality. I'm so woke. And then they come here actively denying reality. Actively denying it. Which is heavier in a weightless environment. Don't put things like that in the comment section. You're going to send them into an absolute fucking tizzy. Oh dear. Exactly, JCW. Exactly. You know, this magnetism thing, and I've seen a few other ones, but it seems like attempts to avoid the facts again. You know, and as I said before, fair play if people are honestly investigating, but you know, when flaws are pointed out in their reasoning and how their demonstrations don't fully show, you know, and recreate reality, they don't want to hear it. People become invested in a particular bias or a particular postulation, and they become committed to that to the point of absurdity. You know, it's incredible. That's it, Rich. You know, people again, Occam's razor. Oh, I'm showing you Occam's razor. You know, when people start invoking magic, that's when Occam's razor is left by the wayside. And people have now entered into Narnia and trying to clutch at magical fairy tales in order to uphold their faulty, idiotic worldview. You know? Oh, objects fall to the floor because gravity. What do you mean? Well, Einstein's and stuffs. Well, Jack Stone, it's up to you to demonstrate that. If you found something, again, just demonstrate. Just demonstrate it. Pragmatic, hello there. Did you see the little demonstration, Pragmatic? Des, hello, confirmation bias, exactly. There's loads of possibilities, Bluefin, you know, again, philosophies and possibilities and blah blah blah. Yeah. Joe, effed up world, hello there. What do you make of the little demonstration, Joe? Did you see it? Yeah, exactly, Pragmatic. I've no Andrew, still nothing, mate. Can you play the demo again, please? Cool. Let me just screen share. So this is just a demonstration of no displacement of a gas and a liquid, no downward acceleration, they don't displace. And I'm going to put this on to play even slower. And we'll skip it to the zoomed in parts. You can clearly see it stops moving. This one attached to the earth continues to sink. This one stops. Yeah, Jack. That's because what we have to think about is that if that's the case, you know, when I let an object go, although it immediately appears to us to go, right, or you could say, oh, it's immediately stationary, it's no, it has to lose its momentum. If we were travelling at, say, 21 miles per hour right now, and I let that go, it has to lose that 21 miles per hour before it comes to a standstill. It's decelerating, Andrew, exactly. Yes, Leo, yeah. It's all knee-jerk reactions. We're seeing it continually. As I said before, you know, it's not a bias, it's not a trick, there's no parlour tricks here, there's no, you know, it's just reality. And the knee-jerk reaction is because people have bought into a mantra and have now invested in another belief system and, you know, have trouble accepting reality. Obvious CGI. Yep, Trackmatic. The Globe, I've went to a couple of channels and they just obfuscate and evade and avoid. They don't have any response. They have to, you know, the explanation they have to come up with is like I demonstrated. Oh, well, as soon as you let it go, apparently gravity's acting continually. But miraculously, when the object's let go, the other object stops moving through it because magically gravity knew that it was no longer connected to the earth, so grabbed it and grabbed the water molecules and the air molecules and the bottle and the screw within it and moved it all at the same speed. This is what I'm talking about by invoking magic. Well, we've got Andrew who has said that he's done it from a higher point. Myself and Marty are going to recreate it again. I've got a little video there, but it's very difficult to see it clearly, so I'm probably not going to bother sharing that right now until we can recreate it more solidly. And again, I encourage everybody. Again, people talk about communities, you know, truthers, community. Well, why don't you contribute then? This is proper peer review. Why don't you recreate it and then display your findings? Good on you, Joe. Exactly, Trackmatic. And what we're seeing now, look at these flat earth channels and these globe earth channels who are supposedly violently opposed, but they're continually holding debates with pay-per-view and super chats and this, that and the other. How is that benefiting anybody? How is that progressing anybody? The only people that's benefiting are the people who, you know, are holding these channels, who are jumping on a topic and milking it for their own ends. When it comes to this, when it comes to actual truth, they don't want to know. The reason they don't want to know is because it totally obliterates their silly little arguments. And if they were intellectually honest, they would have to let go of their silly little arguments, and therefore they would have no debate anymore. Something that they can get gullible people invested in so that they can milk money out of them, because gullible people need to cheer on a side. Gullible, insecure people need something to latch onto, some dichotomy, so that they can have an opposer, an oppressor, a baddie, a villain. Wee, I'm self-righteous and I'm good and you're bad and I'm going to batter you. Oh, because they're fucking retarded. And charlatans understand that. And charlatans pounce upon that and utilise it to their benefit. So that's why we don't see these channels getting involved or bringing these aspects up. Because it's detrimental to them. I persuaded the most derps today, I win the world, I'm great. Exactly, Mick. That's exactly how they think. Emergency alert tomorrow, that's right. Yep. Universities when the weather's good again, yep. Nice one. It's a great little depiction. Plato's Cave. And that says it all. People look at a screen to be told what their reality is by priestly figures. That analogy, or the allegory of the cave, it's the same. This is what's been done to people. So they don't pay attention to reality. They just pay attention to what's in front of them on a screen. Right, Imran wants to join for a little bit. Hang on. I wasn't planning on being on that long, but let me see here. Time we got. That will not be for long, Imran. Start an instant meeting. And they're going to expose themselves. They keep saying flat stationary Earth. They're just going to expose themselves. Just let them. Let them. Leave them to it. Yep, observable true. Hello there.
Hello, brother. Hello, Del. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Yourself? You don't
Yeah.
mind? You don't mind if I just show your face on screen just now, mate?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to scare others, go right ahead, brother. Yeah, so, yeah, it's been a while, man. How have you been?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. Great. You know, it's really exciting to see these practical demonstrations and coming to terms with our objective reality.
Yeah, mate. What is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so you know, I always keep it 100 real with you. So initially when I came to this realization that this whole claim of a spinning globe or sphere is totally absurd and contradicts our reality.
Yeah.
So at that point, you know, I didn't think fully about it, and I thought that we are on a stationary, immovable plane.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw that demonstration, you know, and I did it myself with the bottle with water in it, and I moved it in every direction. And when you move it or accelerate it, it shows displacement clearly.
Yeah.
Except when you just let it go.
Yeah.
You know, so that's I mean, that is just simple enough, and that is the whole beauty of this objective inquiry, that anybody who's honest enough and who hasn't got any bias and who's not invested in it will straight away come to terms with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why people have, you know, issues and why they're scared to change their stance.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem at all with it.
No. That's the thing, you know, because people don't stop and think and have things figured out properly, they impulsively jump into
Yes.
beliefs and statements, and then their ego becomes defensive because people don't want to admit they're wrong, and they just set up themselves to have so many problems. Why not just be objective from the very beginning and curtail your ego so that you don't make these mistakes, you know? And it's
True.
And it's fine to make the mistakes, but you have to be able to, you know, correct yourself and move on from that. You know,
True. I think that's a very strong point, that one should be strong enough and honest enough to change their position if they see something that is practical, a practical demonstration which goes against my beliefs. I should be strong enough and honest enough to accept that.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Right.
And again, just to highlight the whole religious part, but because I had Andrew spoke with Andrew, and he comes from a biblical position, and even he has the ability to accept reality. But that doesn't mean to say that he has to lose his faith, because Andrew looked again at the wording, and understanding things like immovable doesn't mean that it's stationary. Immovable can simply mean if I put something in a particular track, a particular motion, and it's set, then I can say it's immovable from its path.
Yes.
But it's still in motion, but it's immovable from its path.
Yes, true. That's true. Yes. No, I mean, look, you have described it so nicely in different ways. Your approach has been brilliant. You have even explained that, look, density in itself doesn't have the quality, the capability, the property of moving something.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
So it doesn't matter how dense a material is, it cannot move on its own.
No. Exactly, mate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this straight line, uniform, linear motion, it's just straight up so simple thing. It shows you how these density gradients form and why things go up, because they are pushed up, and you can do this in the car, like you said, with a balloon. And these things just are practically demonstrable. And really, if one has to be intellectually dishonest to disagree with these things.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know where people are at. If we're not using practicality in order to reason with each other, then I don't know what the communication is then. The communication is can only be subjectivity trying to dominate other subjectivity, because the communication standard has to be practicality.
Absolutely.
And that's the universal language for every single one of us. Doesn't matter your culture, your language, that practicality is the universal language as far as I'm concerned.
True. Yes, that's right, brother. Yeah, so it was. So that's where we are at right now. I think everybody should be up to speed. So, what's next then? What's the next objective?
Well, the investigation continues, mate.
Yeah. No, that's my hope. This investigation, we should carry this on, and there should be unrestricted, unhindered exploration of this plane where we live on.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I think the next step for me is when I go back to the universities, I'm going to use these two, examples of no downward acceleration and obviously the density, and I'm going to ask some people what they think about it, what their reasoning is on it. So as soon as I have some decent weather, that's going to be my next step.
Sure. I mean, today you had a pretty decent weather there, up there in the north, but here I think you sent all the chemtrails, and all the clouds over here, are we?
Good.
In London, brother, it's every day. In the morning, the clouds come from the east, and they are in the path of the sun, and they continue to block the sun right till 6-7 p.m.
Yeah.
And then they just disappear.
It's the same pattern here, exactly, mate.
Yeah. This is what's going on, and I saw it like they are talking about the king's coronation, that the weather will be great around that that time.
Yeah. Well, again, it's been openly admitted in weather modifications in use. You can hire privately, to influence weather. So.
Yes,
it's not a conspiracy theory. It's
no, it's well known. It's well known, established fact now.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Oh, good. Well, hopefully you get some decent weather soon, mate.
Hopefully, brother, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it gets warmer than last year.
Yeah.
So the mattress soakers, they can stay indoors.
Yeah.
I mean, not today. Yesterday, I don't know if you're aware that they were out there, the Extinction Rebellion. They were marching in London.
Right.
Yeah. Did you see the pics or something?
No, I've not seen any of it, mate. No.
Oh, brother, you should. You'll be surprised to see their outfits. I can tell you that much.
Aye.
Yeah,
I'll need to have a wee look at that.
yeah. Have a look. They are dressed in all red. You
Right.
know, all red. Their favorite color, and they are not hiding now. They're coming out.
Aye.
Who they worship.
Exactly. Did you see the Dalai Lama thing with the young boy?
Oh, yes. I saw that. You know, that's just sickening.
Exactly.
And let me say this, that it's not only related to like one faith or one religion. That's even among Muslims. Look, I'm a Muslim, and I'll be honest with you again. Even among Muslims, this thing is quite common. You know, these sick psychopaths, they are pedophiles,
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
and the things they do to the young kids,
Yeah.
they're just sickening.
It's almost like he forgot where he was for a moment, you know?
Yes.
And the true colours were there to see, you know?
Yeah.
So, as you say, they're coming out the woodwork now, mate, you know?
Yes, and then there's good and bad people in every religion, every color, every culture. You know,
Of course.
it's everywhere. This
Exactly.
thing is universal.
Exactly, mate. That's it. People have to look at language properly and stop identifying through colour, you know,
Yeah.
religion. You know, it's the content of each individual you should be
Yeah.
analysing, you know?
Yeah. Look, Della, I know you're not here for long. Just 1 minute, if I can ask you something.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm not going to name that lady, but because I don't know if you want me to, but she's like on Telegram and she has a group and she does talks all over the UK. And she's basically waking people up to stop paying the bills and all that.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? Are you aware of her?
Katie.
So you are taking the names. Look, it's your channel. I don't mind.
That's all right.
I was just being respectful. You
No
know.
worries.
No, it's Stacy.
Right.
So have you heard of her?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I respect her. Look, I respect her. I salute her what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's-
What do you think about it?
Well, there's so many people, Imran, that are attacking from many different aspects, and I think it's good because there's many different things that can snap people out of the hypnotic trance.
Yes.
But again, for me, you know, I've moved beyond these things. I'm not interested in the contents of the room anymore. I'm not interested in the ideals, the ideas that have been fabricated through man's mind.
Yep.
You know.
Yes.
And people can battle for a better system and this and that and the other. I need to find out exactly where I'm before I even.
But that's the ultimate objective. You know, you have hit the nail on the head. And you know, you'll be surprised that most of these people who are talking about freedom and, you know, governing ourselves and we don't need a government and all that, I respect these ideologies, but the fact of the matter is that these very people, they will never ever talk about our objective reality.
No.
Never.
No.
They never go there. They never touch the subject.
No. And it's hugely flawed. Again, they think that they've got answers to life and they've got ideas of how we should live life, yet they don't even know what life is. They don't know where we are, why we're here, how we came here. You know, they don't have the answers to these, but they want to ignore that and push ideology, you know? So,
Yes.
it's bizarre.
Yes. Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, but you know, just keep up the good work. Look, this is why you are unique, because you are a genuine person, and you just follow the reality. The reality is objective. Reality is your guide, is your teacher,
Yeah,
and we just follow along wherever it takes us.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, great catching up with you, and hope you are making gains and, you know, training hard.
Yes, trying.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's good.
Oh, good to see you, Imran.
Yeah. No, nice catching up.
Hope you and the family are well, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Del. Take care.
Take care, bud.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, any questions on the topic before I get off here? Rabbit hole still going. Very soon, Cowabunga Joe. Very soon. So, nobody has any questions, so by that I'm gathering that people comprehend it and they accept the reality. And I encourage you again to recreate and repeat it for yourself if you have any doubts. And as I say, if you have any other kind of explanation as to what the facts are, then by all means get in touch. I would love to hear it. Can you restart? I'm late. There's a rewind button for that. I think you'll enjoy the little demonstrations that are there, Rachie. Exactly, Max Mees. Yes, your everyday life is the best flat earth movie. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Your wife hates you talking about this stuff. You're meant to be whispering sweet nothings. No telling her that water's level. That's not going to turn her on, I'm afraid. Right, nice one. Cool, Rachel, it'll be interesting to see what you think. Right, I'll be back very soon. Take care of yourself.